Good morning, CC families. This is week 4, cycle 1, 5th edition, what we did in class. So I just wanted to review with you guys really quickly. We talked about the Hittite Empire, and we had some fun ways to work on our little different areas. So for the Hittite Empire, the first place that we're going to find is Hattusa, and we're going to draw a top hat on Hattusa. And then we are going to remember that Hattusa, the little hat, is sitting on top of the head of Asia Minor. And that is Asia Minor. We can go down into Saudi Arabia here and find the Arabian Desert. Down there, Arabian Desert. And the last point that we find is what we call the Cyclops of the Mediterranean Sea. Because Cyprus, to me, looks like a closed eye. And so that Cyprus right there, Cyprus, is the Cyclops monster of the Mediterranean Sea. And those are our locations in the Hittite Empire. All right, for timeline, we move right along to early Native Americans. Here's our first timeline card. We do the date, so that's 1000 BC, 1000 BC, early Native Americans. This is the sign language F, and so it stands for feather. We're going to show that we have a feather headdress on. Early Native Americans. Israel divides into 2 kingdoms. Israel, it divides into 2 kingdoms. Homer and Hesiod. So this is my H hand, and we just do another H over here. Homer and Hesiod. Remember, these signs are just to help you remember they are not official, nor do you have to use them. This is Homer and Hesiod. Rome founded by Romulus and Remus. So Rome, sign language, our hand is founded. So this is our rock. Hold one second. Founded, Rome founded by Romulus and Remus. And so we just pump that our hand up. Next we have Israel falls to Assyria. Assyria falls to Babylon. All right, so Israel again is I. Israel falls to Assyria, and that's where we're shooting our bow and arrow, Assyria. And then we go Assyria falls to Babylon. Remember, this is our B hand, and then we show that the Babylonians gave us law, and so we do an L to show us that. Israel falls to Assyria, Assyria falls to Babylon. Lausa, Confucius, and Buddha. So this is a sign language P for philosophy, and so we circle it around our head to show that we're thinking. We switch it and do it on the same side, or the opposite side. So Lausa, Confucius, and Buddha, and you're just showing a big belly for Buddha. And that is timeline, week 4. Let's do it from the beginning of the week. 1000 BC, 1000 BC, early Native Americans. Israel divides into 2 kingdoms, Homer and Hesiod, Rome founded by Romulus and Remus. Israel falls to Assyria, Assyria falls to Babylon, Lausa, Confucius, and Buddha. That's timeline. Okay, let's do English grammar. We move down here with our emotions that I'm using. Yeah, they used to be on YouTube. There was a mom and 2 kids, and they had a little dance. And so I'm teaching you guys that one. This week we do before, behind, below, beneath, beside. And you squish it out to the side of your head. So about, above, across, after, against, along, amid, among, around, at, atop, before, behind, below, beneath, beside. That is our motions. Again, this week we covered first declension noun endings. So we have our little Latin llama on her very first birthday. She got so excited when she saw her birthday cake that she jumped up. She jumped up and said, ah. So that helps us to remember that our sequence goes, I am, I am, singular first declension, I, rm, is, os, is, East, os, east. East, os, east. Plural first declension. And so that is our Latin. Science, we move down, and this week we get to talk about the parts of a plant cell. It only has 2 additional parts than our animal cell, and we're going to add the cell wall and the chloroplast. So we start with nucleus, cytoplasm, vacuole, like you're vacuuming, mitochondria, cell membrane, and then we add cell wall, chloroplasts, so they're growing, it's a plant growing chloroplasts, and Golgi bodies, because they transport things through the cell. So again, that's what are some parts of a plant cell? Some parts of a plant cell are nucleus, cytoplasm, vacuoles, mitochondria, cell membrane, cell wall, chloroplast, and Golgi bodies. Good job, you guys. Okay. For math, we pulled out our wheels again, and we wrote out our multiplication tables for the 7s and the 8s. So you can use flashcards, is pretty much one of the best ways for your 10 and up crowd to work on those, or writing them out. Again, they don't want us to skip count anymore. Working on recalling those quicker as a multiplication fact and not as a skip counting. Last but not least is our 7 wonders of the ancient world. Are the pyramids of Giza, hanging gardens of Babylon, temple of Artemis at Ephesus, statue of Zeus at Olympia, mausoleum at Halicarnassus, Pharos lighthouse at Alexandria, Colossus of Rhodes. Oh, we used sparkle for that, and so the motions that I have are pretty simple or elementary. We just did pyramids of Giza, and then hanging gardens of Babylon, the temple of Artemis, this is your A hand, at Ephesus, statue of Zeus, we made a Z for like Zorro, statue of Zeus at Olympia, the mausoleum, M hand, at Halicarnassus, H hand, Pharos, we were pretending like we were the lighthouse, Pharos lighthouse at Alexandria, and then Colossus of Rhodes, which is also another statue where he's standing up like this. So stand up again like that for Colossus of Rhodes. He did stretch out between, like Colossus of Rhodes has a foot on one side of the harbor and like one on the other. So anyway, he stood up tall as well. And those are the 7 wonders. Just remember that you have to say the wonder and the location on 5th edition. So that is new if you recall, and that is it. So for science, we talked about pollution. We looked at taking food coloring and how much water we needed to add to a gallon to see that food coloring disappear. So we were talking about the dilution of pollution, but did the pollution ever actually go away, or did we just can't see it anymore? So that's what we did for science. And for art, we did abstract art this week, and I taught them how to draw Celtic knots. And so I think they had a lot of fun with that, and it became easier than what they expected. And we will be off next week because of Labor Day. We will return on week 5 the following Tuesday, and I know Mendoza's are our family speakers. If you guys have any questions about anything at all, never hesitate to call or ask. And you guys have a great break. Bye-bye.